Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Form Therapy. Today, I will be reacting to Anteam's "We on Fire." I gotta admit, I'm going into this with pretty high expectations. Anteam typically delivers, but sometimes they outstandingly deliver so hard that it is hard to reach their own bar sometimes. And I fear that Anteam, with their past release, it's going to be hard to top Back to Life. Back to Life is not just my favorite Anteam title track, it's probably one of my favorite K-pop songs of all time. And I do have to apologize in advance because I know a handful of Anteam fans, I'm sure, wanted to see my reaction to Lunatic. I saw the comments. I did film a reaction for it, but unfortunately the video was corrupted, and so the reaction is literally unwatchable. And so I'm sorry that I could not deliver. However, if you do want to see my reaction to the Lunatic song, before I even watched the music video, I did a listening party for Back to Life. I will say, I don't toot my own horn often, but it is probably one of my best reactions like I've ever done. I lose my absolute mind for Lunatic, and so if you want to check that out, you can visit my Patreon. Link is in the description below to go see that. But in the meantime, we are going to check out "We on Fire" by Anteam. Let's go. Okay. 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 Interesting. The way they're running across that shot made them look like wolves. I'm digging the stylistic direction thus far. Ooh. Who's that with the long hair? That does not look like an Anteam member. Oh, the camera work is absolutely exquisite. Wow. Damn, that punch didn't land. Damn, that punch didn't land. It's not his fault. Wow. Wow. That is definitely not an Anteam member. Okay. Listen, I don't know the lore. Wow, I'm sorry, that transformation did not look good. Damn, that morph did not look good. This is a pretty, for the most part, pretty gorgeous music video, but that transformation did not. Oh! I wonder if that's a part of the actual song. Damn. They said we don't have the budget to film this part in live action. And I get it. I'm looking at it and this is like, ooh, no. Damn, no. Oh no. Oh no. You can see the generic AI slop right there. Damn. Oh, there's so much more left. Wow, there's a whole like 40 seconds. Hold on. Ooh. Wow, this is very Nicholas heavy. Let's go. Damn, that extra 40 seconds was also just a lot of the credits. Okay. 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 So, man, I feel conflicted because that music video went from stylish and gorgeous and pretty damn cool and fun to we ran out of money towards the end half of the video. And listen, there are people who are okay with AI and AI slop. I know it's a pretty controversial topic. I think and I think it's a pretty nuanced topic to be had about like this and this and that. But when it comes to art, it's just nah. It's just nah. It's just, you know, the fact that you can spot AI visually very easily is, I think, a big sign that it's not great. I think especially it's like not good for environmental work, in texture work. And when you see that portal, it's like it's got no, like the portal has no depth to it. It looks incredibly flat. Like AI is really bad at details and depth. And so it's suddenly like lost its power at the end. And honestly, like I can, so they cut to the animated section, right, where it's like it looks like a black and white pencil, like graphite drawing. That part was cool, although I think it did last a little too long. I think if they could have been a little bit more ambitious, which this music video is trying to be ambitious, but then they kind of just like gloss over a lot of stuff with shortcuts. Rather than making that entire section animated, I understand why they made that part animated, because if you look at some of the bending of the shots, unless you basically hire Zack Snyder, that shit is going to be so fucking hard and near impossible to film. And so if you wanted to like do these very like lens defying shots and depth defying shots, basically anime shots, that's why they did it, right? A lot of the shots, the animated parts, the fighting scenes felt very akin to some of the depth work that you saw in like season 1 and 2 of Attack on Titan back when Mappa did, I think Mappa did, Mappa or whoever did the first 2 seasons before like the art style changed on Attack on Titan. A lot of that seems to be a huge inspiration for the camera work during that animated section. And yeah, it's I wouldn't say it's impossible to do in live action. I would say that it's really only been done in live action by someone like Zack Snyder. And so it's typically incredibly difficult to do. And so I understand why they did that, but the sequence is so long that I feel like it kind of took away also from the moment and the coolness. I think if they had filmed certain parts, there's like, so one of the like, hold on. The members are divided by like their different weapons, and they're classified by their different weapons. There's a shot in particular where Fuma, I think, has like a giant 50 cal sniper. So there's a shot in that animated sequence where Fuma is firing a shot. If they had shot that part in live action, and then when the shot is like following and bending, it like blends into animation and then goes back into live action, blends into animation. I think if they had like kind of blended that and went back and forth, it would have been really cool, because up until that point I was really enjoying the live action elements. So yeah, it just felt a little bit too much like they leaned heavily on the animated sequence, especially because the song is reaching an apex where it's like climaxing, and I think we're all fans of the group themselves, right? I think we would rather see the boys even just dance rather than just see an animated sequence version of them doing all this cool stuff. I think we would rather watch even a performance section. And I think That's like, I love that Anteam like is committed to their lore, and I appreciate that. And I'm not saying stop. I just think that this is a case where they could have just for that like bridge section where it leads to that big outro, they should have just like committed to like a performance section to make the energy feel bigger and higher rather than going with the animated section. And then the outro, I feel like, just killed the momentum and the energy with the AI slop. Like, I feel like industry people, they keep trying to force it, and they're like, we're gonna keep forcing it until people accept it. And thus far, people are still like, nah, like it doesn't look good. So, and yeah, just man, this I feel gutted because up until that point, I thought the music video was really cool. The song itself, I think it's a little lukewarm. I think it's a little tepid. Like, even with Back to Life holding such a high bar and standard, I think the song itself, even if Back to Life wasn't in play, is still a little tepid. Like, I feel like it's like maybe right under Going Blind, and even Going Blind isn't that high for me. Like, I feel like Fireworks and other things, like Samidare and stuff like that, is a little bit higher for me. But of course, that's my own taste. Maybe someone likes this. It felt a little bit more like kind of like a grooving mid-tempo alt rock song, which is fine. But for me, I like bursts in energy. I like bursts in emotion. And so something like Back to Life or Samidare or Fireworks has that, right? This is a little bit more kind of steady and consistent throughout. But the music video, at least the first half, is really cool. So let's go ahead and watch it again. Let's just at least appreciate the great parts of this video. In terms of great parts of this video, the wolf is not one of them. I think they could have gotten away with it, but first off, it looks... I was gonna say the wolf doesn't look like it's AI, and then when you get to the wide shot, then it looks like AI. But it's either that or it's just like, not great CG. Either way, I think when we get to the close-up shots, especially, you can hide a lot of bad CG with great particle effects. And I think that would have been fantastic. Like, these close-up shots look good when you're able to hide a lot of the lighting effects. So I loved anything physical about this music video. So the running here, where it looks like they're literally just parkouring, they look like wolves rather than like they're parkouring. It's kind of like a blend. So that's a great shot. This is something that I really, really like. Just the first verse, I think, has some of the cooler shots. The silhouette shots, just look freaking fantastic. But notice how the song like dips in like low energy and it's like really quiet. And so to introduce these silhouette shots during this moment is just visually perfect and consistent. Oof. And editing wise too, they also utilize it really well. And I like these kind of like holder shots right here. It kind of feels like a little video gamey. Like the whole song actually feels like a video game OST if you kind of think about it, and with how ambitious the animation is trying to be. But I like these posed shots, and I like how they're like almost on a rotating disc, kind of like they're in standby mode in a video game. That's cool. Oh, let's appreciate Joe for a sec. Damn. Yeah, like they look like video game characters, like waiting for character selection. That's cool. Oh, I love what they're doing with Joe's sleeves. That's really interesting. And the styling is freaking fantastic. Kay with the cowboy look, I love it. Love what you're about to see in like the edit. There's like this percussion texture that goes, and then there's like the array of like the shots coming up. It's so satisfying. Oh, that's so satisfying. Like they look like Final Fantasy characters if you think about it. Like the blend of like the Western culture with also like giant Gatling guns and swords is, I think, very, very Final Fantasy-esque. Damn, that's crazy. Okay, this is just nitpicking. With a sniper of that caliber, I think that was Uju. There should have been like a bigger. There should have been a bigger kick. Like it should have been like. It just should have. There should have been a way bigger kick. The action is shot incredibly well. First off, utilizing a mix of the drones. The drone shots give it that like bending anime look, which is why I'm like, you could have really shot that animated drawn portion in live action, which is it would be time consuming and a lot of storyboarding and a lot of planning, but you could have done that with some drone work. But I like this sequence in particular, like the blocking is really great. How we move from that one shot to the next, instead of cutting, it just like slowly moves forward and then Kay comes into frame. And the shot continues. Unfortunately, this is just, again, nitpicking. Just Nicholas's punch does not connect. It shows a little too much that, listen, like no punch is ever actually real in any sort of film or TV show, but there's a way that you film it, and I feel like the camera needed to be coordinated just a little bit more to the left because you see his punch not connect physically. And second here as well. Yeah, you also see it not connect. Damn! But then that looks gorgeous. Oh my god. God. The lighting work, the lighting of like, you see the burst of the explosion and you see the light across his face and the gust of wind, like that is what makes it feel real. And you see his body rocking back. That's what makes it feel real. See, like I think these are like very creative solutions right here. Like you have Haruha like throwing the grenade. It's not lit. The grenade's not lit. I'm so sorry. I don't want to nitpick. I love Ant-Team. It's not their fault. I'm just nitpicking the video team. He throws it and then hard cut to the explosion. Like rather than animating the whole thing of like the grenade reaching the bad guys and then exploding. That's a lot of work. That's a lot to do for a music video. So they just hard cut to the explosion. It's like clever ways to get around it. Like I really like the combination of the performance with the rest of the music video. Like I feel like it's their dancing that actually gives the music video energy. Like rather than like all of these sequenced CG shots. Damn. No. The reason the transformation doesn't look good is that's also AI. It's just there's no depth. There's no sense of depth. So gorgeous. Wow. Very reminiscent of Go In Blind and Warcry. I guess I'm curious about the lore and a little confused about the lore because they themselves are werewolves, but the werewolf is also a bad guy. The giant werewolf is a bad guy. So I'm curious as to what the lore is. If anyone knows the Anteam lore, shout out. Let me know in the comments. Why is the wolf the bad guy when they themselves are the wolves? Yo, Maki's jacket is fire. Damn, no depth in that shot. Damn. Nicholas is good though. Damn, it looks like they're just jumping into the most flat shot on earth. There's no lighting reflecting off onto them. The tunnel itself is just super flat. This would have been a fire opening. I'm curious as to why this is the outro. Like what it means for the lore. Have they put out the fire? That's why it's raining. But then light. I will say, unfortunately, it does not live up to the high expectations that I typically have for Anteam. In terms of the group themselves and their execution, they did great. And again, I really liked the live choreography of the action. I really loved the camera work. I thought it was super ambitious. And I liked then mixing that lore stuff in with the more stylish stuff, like where it looked like kind of like video game loading shots, but also it's like really fashionable. I liked the blend of that. I thought that was really cool. But I think it's the case of the music video might be just a little too ambitious. You know, the music video, I understand not being able to afford the CG to pay for doing all of that, okay? Because again, you know, people might wonder, it's like, oh, why don't they just pay CG artists? Because it's a shit ton of money. And you have to understand, music videos have zero return, $0, all right? Zero return. They will not see any fucking money coming back from doing the music video. A music video is just a commercial, and it's just a trailer for the album. And at that point, if they're going to sink that much money into it, there's no way they're going to get that same level of return. Like, the album has to sell extraordinarily well for them to even risk that kind of level of investment into the CG budget. And at that point, you know, then my thing is like, just shoot it all live action, right? Like, just shoot it all live action and you'll at least get your money back, and it'll look decent. I think it'll look much better than at least this. I will say it's a huge budget music video though. Like if you watch the music video, they have live action stunt work. They have live action explosions. Like when you see the shots of like the bad guys all running along the sands, you see like they've got like squibs going off, explosive materials going off in the sand that they're blending with the CG. So the actual and then you have to imagine like building the set itself, because these are actual sets. So do like a mix of all that. It's a big budget music video, but they wanted to go even bigger, and that's why they incorporated the CG and the AI. But again, it's just like I would say like I don't ever want to tell people dream small, but I would say like know your limits, know your limits between dreaming big, but also what is possible. And I think when people think of AI, it's like, oh, now we can do anything. No, it's a shortcut to doing something. And if this was like previs work and they were doing the AI for like previs work, which is pre-visualizing the shots before you like invest money into it and then doing like actual finalized CG shots, I'd be like, fine, whatever. But for an actual product, like, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, they're probably counting on the fact that like people won't give a shit and people will be like, oh, whatever, it's AI. And Korea especially is pretty lenient on AI. In particular, but I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe it's the fact that I myself am an artist, or I'm in particular just like really, I'm always a proponent for do as much in camera, and I'm a little bit more of an old school filmmaker in that way. Do as much in camera before you take it outside of camera, before you take it into post-production. Maybe that's just that side of me. I'm going to pass it off to you guys on that regard. How do you feel about the inadequate CG and the use of AI? Is that okay with you guys? If you're like, it's not a movie. At the end of the day, whatever. It's just like a quick little 4-minute video. If that's how you feel, I guess then labels will keep doing that, right? But for me, I think even a 3-4 minute video, as Top very recently demonstrated, can be a work of art. And so I don't think the length of a video justifies shortcuts. I don't think the length of a video justifies, just like, it's okay if it looks whatever. I think presentation matters. And unfortunately, it doesn't quite deliver in that regard. I would have appreciated if they had incorporated just more performance shots, because I thought the dancing was a big part of the kinetic energy of showcasing the song. And again, the song itself it's a little bit tepid. It's a little bit lukewarm for my taste. I think it sounds a little bit not as ambitious as something like Back to Life, even Go In Blind. I feel like if this had released early in Anteam's career, that makes sense. My thing, I guess, is this song doesn't feel like it's moving the group and the team forward in sound or music. It feels like it's doing the same thing that they've been doing for the past 3-4 years. And that's fine and all, but like, you need to hear evolution. You need to that's what makes a K-pop group last, and that's what makes a K-pop group like get new fans and stuff like that. It's like, you have to go bigger. You have to go bigger. You have to go bigger, or you have to evolve. You have to evolve. This doesn't feel like evolving. This feels quite literally like this could have been like the comeback right after Firework. This could have been the comeback right after their debut. So that's kind of the thing of like, oh, this feels very Anteam, but feels like we kind of grew out of this era, and it felt like Back to Life was the perfect, hey, it's still the core Anteam sound, but we're going bigger, we're evolving. And so I'm a little disappointed in that regard. But I'll pass the question off to you guys. What do you think? In the meantime, I will also do a listening party for this album. Maybe We On Fire might grow on me and build up in the listening party, or like listening to it without visual distractions. With that in mind, let me know what you guys think about the song. If you want to check out my listening party for We On Fire, that's going to be on my Patreon. That'll be out early next month in May, so stay tuned. But in the meantime, we have a bunch of reactions coming out this month on the Patreon. It's a very big BTS month, what with the Ariran comeback. So if you want to check any of that stuff out, not only am I checking out like the Netflix comeback show and the documentary, I've been checking out bonus drops for things like their Epikaze appearance, the Hot Ones appearance, the Zane Lowe interview, and all that. So if you're interested in any of that, head on over to the Patreon. I also mentioned I have my reaction for Lunatic and their old Back to Life, or they're not old, their previous Back to Life album reaction. Trust me, it's bonkers, and I think it's totally worth subbing to the Patreon to even just see that reaction. Of course, you don't have to support the channel monetarily. It is the best way to support the channel, but there are free alternatives, like simply liking the video down below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Whenever Anteam releases another comeback, I will definitely be checking it out over here. And you can check out my other reactions in either of the end cards. And that's going to be it for me. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you.